Welcome, everyone. Today, we're diving into a fantastic explainer that's literally going to demystify the internet for you. But more importantly, we're going to show you exactly how to take your everyday personal computer and transform it into a fully functioning web server. Have you ever wondered what actually happens behind the scenes when you type a website into your browser? Or how you could use the very machine you're on right now to host your own files for the entire world to see? Well, you're in exactly the right place. We're going straight to the core of web networking today. We're going to break down, step by step, how you can build this incredible bridge right from your desk to the rest of the globe. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our agenda for today. We're going to cover 1. Mapping the network landscape, 2. Finding your IP address, 3. Turn your PC into server, 4. The journey of a click, and finally, 5. Ports, guards, and security. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Network Landscape, Mapping the Network.
To understand how to host a website right from your own personal computer, we first need to understand the environment our newly built server is going to live in. We start at the absolute smallest scale with the LAN, or Local Area Network. Think of this as the intimate, enclosed network right inside your home or office. It's this private digital space where all your devices, your laptop, your smartphone, that wireless printer, or the very PC you're about to turn into a server, they can all see and talk to each other locally. They're just happily sharing data over short distances, passing files back and forth without ever needing to step outside into the broader public world.
Now, if we scale up from that single room, things get pretty wild. Take multiple local networks and link them across, say, a university campus or a massive corporate building, and you get a MAN, a metropolitan area network. But what about connecting whole cities, countries, or continents? For that, we use a WAN, a wide area network. The absolute best example of a WAN? The internet itself. It's the largest network in the world, basically connecting billions of those smaller local networks together into one massive global web. That means the personal computer sitting on your desk right now has the potential to talk to literally any other machine on Earth, as long as it has the right pathway. So how do we actually connect all these networks together? Well, we rely on a specific set of hardware tools. We start with physical cables, right? These range from your standard copper LAN cables plugged into the back of your PC, all the way up to those massive underwater fiber optic cables crossing the oceans. Next up, we have switches. These are devices that plug into multiple computers locally so they can form that initial home network. But to get outside, we use routers. The router is absolutely critical. It's the gateway for your personal server. It acts as the physical border between your safe local home network and the massive public wide area network out there. And finally, we have access points, which are simply used to stretch that router's wireless Wi-Fi signal across larger physical spaces.
Moving right along to Section 2, Finding IP Address, Identifying Devices. Now that we have the physical roads built, we need a way to reliably identify who is who on this massive network. Just like a physical house needs a mailing address, every single device on a network needs an IP address so the data knows exactly where to go. But there are two distinct types here. First is your private IP. This is assigned dynamically by your local router, usually looks something like 192.168. something. It's strictly for internal use among your own devices. Second, your router is issued a public IP from your internet provider. That is your internet-facing identity. But here is the major catch, and it's a big one. Both of these are dynamic. That means every time your router restarts or your provider refreshes the network, your digital identity changes. Imagine trying to run a business where your storefront's street address changes literally every single night. Your customers would never find you. That's a huge roadblock if you're trying to turn your personal computer into a reliable, accessible server.
So what's the fix? Well, the crucial point here is that to host anything reliably, your address simply cannot be changing every time the power flickers. You must contact your internet service provider and purchase what's called a static IP. This is an unchanging, permanent internet address. By taking this vital step, you ensure that no matter what happens, the outside world always knows exactly where your machine is located. It is the absolute permanent anchor for your new home server.
Which brings us to Section 3. PC into server, building the foundation.
Okay, we finally have all the networking pieces in place to reach our ultimate goal. Here is your builder's blueprint. 4 essential steps to transform your standard, everyday personal computer into a robust web server. Step 1, as we just discussed, is getting that permanent static IP. Step 2 is ensuring you have strong hardware. Remember, your personal server's new job is to sit there and answer web requests 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without failing. It needs to be tough. Step 3 is installing a dedicated server operating system on your machine. And Step 4 is installing the specific web software that actually serves your website files to external visitors. Let's zoom in a bit closer on those last two crucial steps. When choosing your server operating system, you're faced with a classic trade-off. You have to weigh the familiar, easy-to-use Windows server, which gives you a really nice graphical interface, but, costs money for a commercial license and historically requires a bit more active security management. On the flip side, you've got the Linux server. Linux is completely free, incredibly secure, and highly customizable. However, it does come with a steeper learning curve, mostly because you're going to need to know how to navigate a text-based command line interface. For serious home hosting, Linux is incredibly popular and super resource efficient, but it definitely demands a bit more technical comfort from you, the builder.
Okay, so once your chosen OS is installed, your personal computer is ready, but it doesn't quite know how to speak website yet. You need dedicated software to actively listen for incoming web requests and fetch your underlying HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files to show the world. If you went with Windows, you'll likely use IIS, that's Internet Information Services. If you opted for Linux, you're going to install powerful, free open-source software like Apache or Nginx. Think of these programs as essentially the maitre d' of your newly built server. They're constantly standing at the front desk, warmly greeting your digital guests, and instantly handing them the menu of files you're hosting.
All right, let's jump to Section 4, Journey of a Click, How Requests Travel. Let's see how all this actually connects when a user tries to visit the personal server you just built. This sequence right here shows the incredible, high-speed journey of a single click. When someone types your custom domain name into their browser, the browser first asks the global domain registry if that name even exists. Then it checks the DNS, which acts just like a giant internet phone book to perfectly translate that memorable domain name into your personal server's specific static IP address. The request then travels across the world to that exact IP on your home network. Finally, the web software on your server, like IIS or Apache, receives the request, verifies the domain, pulls up your website files, and sends them right back to the user's screen. And the crazy part? This all happens in just a tiny fraction of a second.
And that leads us to our final part. Section 5, Ports and Security, Guarding the Gates.
So when that data finally arrives at your network's IP address, it still needs to know exactly which door to enter on your PC. 65,535. That massive number represents the total amount of ports available on a single personal computer. Think of your static IP address as the main street address of your house, and these ports? They're like 65,535 individual doors leading into completely different rooms of that exact same house. It is a truly staggering amount of pathways for data to travel through.
To keep things from becoming just pure chaos with all those doors, the internet agreed upon standard ports for specific tasks. Standard, unencrypted web traffic always flows predictably through port 80. Secure, encrypted traffic using HTTPS automatically flows through port 443. But you know what the real beauty of this system is? It's flexibility. Say you want to test both Apache and IIS on your new personal server at the exact same time, you simply assign them to different custom port numbers. You just type your IP address, a colon, and the custom port number into your browser. It keeps the traffic flowing to the correct software, perfectly organized.
But hey, with over 65,000 doors on your newly built server, you have a massive, glaring security risk, and that is exactly where your firewall comes in. The firewall is the essential security guard standing outside your server's doors. It explicitly decides which of those specific ports are open to the public, like port 80 for your website, and which are locked absolutely tight. Listen to me on this one. Never, ever disable your firewall. It is the trusty guard that prevents malicious actors from walking through the thousands of other unmonitored doors on your personal computer and compromising your whole system. It is literally your ultimate line of defense.
And there you have it, our complete blueprint. You now understand the massive network landscape, the critical importance of static IP addresses, the specific software stack needed to run a server, and exactly how to keep those digital doors locked tight. You now have the full foundation needed to explore registering domain names, configuring DNS, and running a live web-facing machine directly from your own home. So, I'm going to leave you with this exciting question. Now that your personal computer can be fully transformed into a secure online server, what are you going to host first?